What if the wind whispering through the trees was not random at all, but a voice? What if the crackling of fire carried messages older than language itself? And what if the rivers and mountains around us were not just geological accidents, but the dwelling places of unseen intelligences, watchers of nature, guardians of the elements? For thousands of years, civilizations across the world have told the same story. Behind the visible world of earth, air, fire, and water exists another realm. One populated by entities that shape, guide, and sometimes challenge human destiny. The Greeks called them daimons. The Persians spoke of divs and fravashi. The Celtic druids knew them as the fae, spirits tied to groves, stones, and rivers. And in Hermetic traditions, they are the elementals, the hidden architects of the natural world. Modern science tells us that the elements are just chemical processes, physical reactions, and measurable forces. Yet beneath this explanation lingers a deeper mystery. Why do humans instinctively speak to the sea, pray to the rain, or feel awe before a mountain as if it were alive? Could it be that our ancestors knew something we have forgotten? That the elements themselves are alive with consciousness? In this video, we are going to step behind the curtain of material reality and explore a secret teaching that has been whispered through esoteric schools for centuries: the existence of elemental spirits. We will trace their roots across mythologies, philosophies, and hidden traditions. We will uncover the symbolic keys left in sacred texts, and we will ask the forbidden question: are these entities purely myth, or do they still walk beside us unseen, shaping the tides of history and the rhythm of our daily lives? You are watching Esoteric Glyph, a sanctuary for seekers of hidden wisdom, forgotten philosophy, and ancient truths. If you are drawn to mysteries that awaken the soul, subscribe now and join our journey into the unseen. But before we continue, pause for a moment. Think about this. Every breath you take is air moving through you. Every heartbeat is fire, energy burning within your chest. Every cell of your body is formed of earth, and more than half of you is water. You are not separate from the elements, you are the elements. If the ancients were right, then you are not only surrounded by spirits, you are inhabited by them. This is not entertainment. This is a call to remembrance. Because to understand elemental spirits is not just to learn about them. It is to awaken to the truth that your own being is woven from the same mystery. In the next hour, we will uncover their hidden history, their symbolic language, and the ways you can begin to sense their presence in your own life. By the end of this journey, you may never look at a storm, a flame, or even a simple glass of water the same way again. So, are you ready to see what no one has ever told you about the spirits of the elements? The story of elemental spirits does not belong to one culture, nor to one age. It is a thread woven through the fabric of human civilization, appearing wherever people pause to ask the question, what animates the world around us? In ancient Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization, priests and magicians spoke of the Apkallu, semi-divine beings who rose from the waters to teach humanity wisdom. These figures were not gods, yet not human either. They were mediators between the physical and the elemental. Water was not just liquid, it was a doorway to intelligence. The Egyptians, masters of sacred symbolism, gave us the four sons of Horus, guardians of the cardinal directions and the elements. They preserved the body in mummification not merely to halt decay, but to balance the forces of earth, air, fire, and water within the vessel of the deceased. To them, elemental spirits were not abstractions, they were the very custodians of life and death. Travel east to India, and we find the Pancha Mahabhuta, the five great elements. The Vedic sages described not only their material qualities, but also their spiritual counterparts. Fire was Agni, a conscious force of transformation. The wind was Vayu, breath itself, the mover of life. These were not metaphors but realities, intelligences that shaped the cosmos and resided within human beings as inner powers. The Greeks, inheritors of Egyptian and Near Eastern wisdom, crystallized these ideas into the classical four elements: earth, air, fire, and water. But behind this system was a far deeper philosophy. Plato hinted at it in his Timaeus, where he described the world's soul, a cosmic intelligence binding the universe together through elemental harmonies. His student Aristotle reduced these to physical properties, but the initiates of the mystery schools knew otherwise. To them, the elements were inhabited by daimons, beings that acted as intermediaries between mortals and the divine. Among the Celts and northern Europeans, the elements took on a more enchanted form. Groves were alive with dryads, rivers whispered with undines, the air shimmered with sylphs, and the hearth fire danced with salamanders. To these cultures, the world was thick with unseen presences. Every stone, every tree, every stream had its keeper. To offend them was to risk misfortune. To honor them was to live in harmony. But perhaps the clearest and most systematic description comes from the Hermetic and alchemical traditions of the Renaissance. In the 16th century, the mystic Paracelsus wrote extensively about the elementals: gnomes of earth, undines of water, sylphs of air, and salamanders of fire. He insisted these beings were not imaginary, but living forces woven into the fabric of the natural world, half spirit, half substance. To the alchemist, the work of transformation was not just about metals, but about communion with these hidden intelligences. So why did this knowledge fade into obscurity? Why do we learn of the elements as scientific abstractions, rather than living presences? Part of the answer lies in the rise of materialism. As science gained dominance in the modern age, anything that could not be measured was dismissed as superstition. The elemental spirits were relegated to fairy tales and folklore, stripped of their esoteric significance. The Church, too, played its role, branding these beings as either pagan fantasies or demonic deceptions. Yet beneath this cultural amnesia, the memory of elemental spirits never fully disappeared. They continued to surface in hidden societies, in esoteric manuscripts, in whispered traditions. Even today, artists, mystics, and poets feel their presence. Consider the Romantic poets who spoke of nature's spirit, or indigenous shamans who still commune with the elemental forces. Philosophically, the presence of elemental spirits challenges the very foundations of modern thought. If earth, air, fire, and water are not just matter but consciousness, then reality itself is not dead but alive. It means we do not live in a mechanical universe of lifeless atoms. We live in a cosmos infused with intelligence. This is the context we must carry forward. A world once known to be alive, reduced by modernity to abstraction, yet still whispering its truth for those willing to listen. To truly grasp the mystery of elemental spirits, we must first shift our perception. Modern thought has conditioned us to see the world as a machine, lifeless matter moved by blind forces. But the ancients saw something else. To them, the world was not a machine, it was a living organism. And the elements were not ingredients, but organs, each animated by its own spirit. Think of the earth. To science, it is rock, soil, minerals, the foundation beneath our feet. But to the mystic, the earth is alive. It breathes through mountains and valleys. It speaks in the stillness of caves and the silence of ancient stones. The beings of earth, often called gnomes, are not the playful caricatures of fairy gardens, but guardians of stability, memory, and hidden treasure. They embody the weight of permanence, the wisdom of what endures. When you feel grounded, steady, or unshakable, you are resonating with the spirit of earth. Now imagine air. To science, it is nitrogen, oxygen, molecules in motion. To the esoteric mind, air is the invisible bridge between spirit and matter. It carries thought as breath carries words. The elemental spirits of air, sylphs, are the keepers of inspiration, imagination, and vision. They move like whispers in the wind, stirring new ideas and intuitions. When you experience a sudden clarity, a flash of insight, or a whisper of intuition, you are breathing with the sylphs. Next is fire. To science, fire is combustion, energy released in flame. But fire is far older than chemistry. Every myth places fire at the center of transformation, the divine spark that lifts mortals into gods. The elemental beings of fire, salamanders, are not reptiles but radiant intelligences that live in flame, passion, and willpower. They are the energy of creation and destruction, the power to purify, the courage to begin anew. When your spirit ignites with determination, or when you face the trial of transformation, you walk with the salamanders. And then there is water. To science, it is H2O, the solvent of life. To the mystic, water is memory itself, the mirror of the soul. Its elemental beings, the undines, move in rivers, seas, and even in tears. They are keepers of emotion, intuition, and depth. They invite us to surrender, to feel, to flow. When you are moved by beauty or touched by grief, when your heart resonates with compassion, you are listening to the undines. Each of these elements, and their spirits, are not separate. They interweave in everything you see, everything you are. Your bones are earth, your breath is air, your metabolism is fire, and your blood is water. To deny elemental spirits is, in a way, to deny parts of yourself. But here is where the mystery deepens. These beings are not just forces within nature. They are mirrors of consciousness. Earth reflects our body and stability. Air reflects our mind and imagination. Fire reflects our spirit and will. Water reflects our soul and emotions. The ancients were not describing external spirits alone. They were pointing to inner archetypes, forces moving within us. This is why elemental spirits appear in so many guises: fairies, angels, jinn, devas, daimons. Each culture named them differently, but all agreed. They are both within and without. They are the bridge between our inner world and the cosmos. Imagine this: a storm approaches. To the modern eye, it is weather. To the ancient, it is the dance of air and water spirits, the clash of unseen wills, the conversation of the sky with the earth. One perspective explains the mechanics, the other reveals the meaning. Both are true, but only one speaks to the soul. And this is the essence of elemental wisdom: to awaken the ability to perceive not only the surface of phenomena, but their soul. To recognize that every gust of wind, every flame, every stone, and every stream is a doorway into a deeper order of reality. This first unveiling leads us to a crucial question. If elemental spirits are both within us and around us, how do we truly know them? Are they independent beings or projections of the human psyche? Or could they be both, energies that shape the world and find reflection within us? This question opens the doorway into our next exploration. To understand elemental spirits is to walk a path of paradox. They are everywhere, yet nowhere. They are forces of nature, yet also mirrors of our own psyche. They are described as independent beings, but they can also dissolve into archetypes, symbols, and dreams. This ambiguity is not an accident, it is their essence. Elemental spirits live in the liminal space between the visible and the invisible, between matter and mind. Let us begin with one of the greatest misconceptions: the belief that elemental spirits are merely fairy tale creatures, harmless inventions of folklore. This was a deliberate distortion. When the church labeled them as demons, and when rationalism dismissed them as fantasy, a veil was cast over something deeper. For in truth, the spirits of the elements are neither angels nor demons. They are something in between. They are not here to save us, nor to destroy us, but to test us. They challenge the human soul to evolve. Consider the gnomes of Earth. Legends often describe them as stubborn, even unfriendly, guarding hidden treasures deep underground. This symbolism runs deeper than gold or jewels. What they truly guard are the mysteries of material existence, the wisdom of patience, discipline, and responsibility. If you want their treasure, you must become worthy of it. And so, the difficulty of Earth spirits mirrors the difficulty of mastering the material plane. The sylphs of air, by contrast, are elusive, fleeting, barely perceptible. They inspire brilliant ideas, but they vanish just as quickly. Their gift is insight, but their test is distraction. How many great visions dissolve because we cannot hold the wind steady in our minds? To commune with the sylphs is to learn focus, to grasp the invisible currents without being blown away by them. The salamanders of fire are perhaps the most misunderstood. Associated with danger and destruction, they are feared as chaotic forces. Yet fire is also the essence of transformation. To approach the salamanders is to be purified, but at a cost. They burn away illusions, attachments, and weakness. Their trial is courage. Can you withstand the fire of your own becoming? And the undines of water, gentle and alluring, yet also capable of drowning. They embody emotion in its dual nature. The power to heal, to connect, to soften, but also the power to consume, to overwhelm, to drown the spirit in sorrow or illusion. Their lesson is balance, to flow without losing form, to feel without being destroyed by feeling. Through these paradoxes, one truth emerges. Elemental spirits are mirrors of our unfinished self. They amplify both our strengths and our shadows. And this is why they have remained hidden, not because they are unreal, but because humanity is rarely prepared to face them. Now let us look at their role in the cosmic order. The ancients did not see elemental beings as isolated forces, but as part of a hierarchy. Above them stood the planetary intelligences, and above those the divine. The elementals formed the foundation, the building blocks of existence. In Hermetic cosmology, they were like the workers of creation, shaping matter, carrying out the will of higher intelligences. Without them, the cosmos would collapse into chaos. This leads us to a question modern thinkers often overlook. If elementals are so fundamental, why don't we perceive them directly? The esoteric answer is that most people no longer see. Our senses are dulled by materialism, by noise, by disbelief. The eye of imagination, the organ once used to perceive them, has atrophied. As Paracelsus said, the elementals flee from those who do not believe in them. To rediscover them, one must rekindle the forgotten faculty of inner vision. Yet there are hints, even today. Mystics report luminous presences in forests, flames that seem to dance with intention, dreams where beings of water or air speak with voices that resonate beyond imagination. Indigenous shamans speak of nature spirits as guides and protectors. Children, before being educated into disbelief, often report imaginary friends that curiously match descriptions of elementals across cultures. Could it be that we all once saw them, but have been trained to forget? Here lies the paradox. The more you chase elemental spirits as external creatures, the further they recede. But the more you align yourself with the qualities of the elements, groundedness of earth, clarity of air, courage of fire, fluidity of water, the more their presence begins to reveal itself. They are less beings to summon and more forces to resonate with. And yet, those who truly dedicate themselves to this path sometimes report direct encounters. Alchemists, mystics, and magicians across history claim to have communed with the elementals, not through domination, but through harmony. They insisted that the spirits will not be commanded, only befriended. For to see them is to see yourself reflected in nature. Ultimately, the greatest secret of elemental spirits may be this. They are not here to entertain us with wonders, nor to frighten us with dangers. They are here to remind us that the world is alive, and that our own consciousness is woven into that aliveness. To deny them is to deny part of our humanity. To acknowledge them is to awaken to a cosmos that breathes, feels, thinks, and burns with us. And now, having explored their paradoxes and misconceptions, we face the most important question of all. If these forces are real, what can we do with this knowledge? How can it transform our daily lives? That is where we turn next, into practice, into application, into the living reality of elemental wisdom. Knowledge without practice remains a shadow. To speak of elemental spirits as ancient myths or poetic archetypes is one thing. To experience them in your own life is another. If what we've explored so far has stirred something within you, then this section is your invitation to bring these mysteries out of abstraction and into living practice. 1. Preparing the inner vessel. Before attempting to commune with the elements, you must first understand that you are the vessel of their presence. Your body is earth, your breath is air, your energy is fire, and your emotions are water. To align with the spirits of nature, begin by honoring these elements within yourself. Earth, practice grounding. Stand barefoot on the soil. Feel the weight of your body pressing into the ground. Visualize roots extending from your feet deep into the earth. This stabilizes your mind and body. Air, breathe with intention. Sit in silence and focus on slow, rhythmic breathing. Imagine each breath cleansing the mind of clutter. Over time, you will sense subtler movements in the atmosphere around you. Fire, light a candle, not just for illumination, but for communion. Gaze into the flame and let it gaze back into you. Feel its warmth stirring your willpower, courage, and passion. A water, sit near a stream, lake, or even a bowl of clear water. Watch how it reflects light and movement. Place your fingertips in the water and imagine it washing away emotional heaviness, leaving only clarity and flow. These simple practices awaken your sensitivity. They are not yet contact with elementals, but they prepare your consciousness to perceive. 2. Building awareness of presence. Elemental spirits rarely appear in the way Hollywood imagines. They do not usually show themselves as tiny winged creatures or fiery beings leaping from the flame. Their presence is subtle, felt rather than seen, intuited rather than proven. Begin with attention. The next time the wind brushes your face, ask inwardly, "What are you saying?" When fire crackles in a hearth, listen. What is being purified here? When water flows, place your awareness in its movement. What are you teaching me about letting go? When you walk on earth, feel its patience. What hidden strength lies beneath my feet? At first, your mind will dismiss these questions as imagination. But slowly, if you persist, impressions will come, images, feelings, even words in the quiet of your mind. These are the subtle whispers of elemental spirits, testing your willingness to hear. 3. Ritual of the four directions. One of the most powerful practices across cultures is aligning with the four elements through the four directions. Indigenous traditions, Hermetic rites, and shamanic paths all preserve versions of this ritual. Here is a simple adaptation you can try. 1. Face the east, air. Breathe deeply. Feel clarity and inspiration entering you. Say silently or aloud, "I honor the spirits of air, bringers of vision and thought." 2. Face the south, fire. Place your hand over your heart. Feel the warmth within you. Say, "I honor the spirits of fire, keepers of courage and transformation." 3. Face the west, water. Imagine waves flowing through your chest. Say, "I honor the spirits of water, guides of emotion and intuition." 4. Face the north, earth. Stamp your feet gently, feeling the ground. Say, "I honor the spirits of earth, guardians of strength and stability." When you complete the circle, stand in the center. You are now aligned with the four elemental forces within and around you. Do this daily, and you will notice a shift. Your awareness expands, synchronicities increase, and you begin to perceive nature as alive in ways you never imagined. 4. Obstacles and warnings. With great knowledge comes great responsibility. Elemental spirits are not toys, and these practices are not parlor tricks. Approach them with reverence, or not at all. Ego inflation. The danger is thinking, "I have power over spirits." Remember, the elementals are not here to be controlled. They respond only to harmony, not domination. Emotional imbalance. If you are overwhelmed by anger, grief, or fear, wait before attempting deep communion. Unbalanced emotions can distort perception, leading to illusions. A disrespect for nature. To exploit nature while invoking her spirits is hypocrisy. Treat the earth, air, fire, and water around you with gratitude, or the spirits will remain silent. The key is humility. Think of yourself not as a master, but as a student of the elements. 5. Transforming daily life. Beyond ritual, the most profound way to engage with elemental spirits is through daily awareness. When you cook, recognize the fire that transforms raw food into nourishment. Whisper thanks to the salamanders. When you drink water, pause before swallowing. Feel the undines cleansing and refreshing you. When you take a breath, notice the sylphs moving through your lungs, keeping you alive. When you walk barefoot, honor the gnomes that uphold your every step. These micro-rituals may seem small, but they awaken a living relationship with the elements. Over time, your consciousness shifts. You no longer see yourself as separate from the world, but as part of a larger, breathing whole. 6. The greater gift. The ultimate purpose of these practices is not to see spirits for their own sake, but to transform your being. When you align with earth, you grow stable. With air, you grow clear. With fire, you grow courageous. With water, you grow compassionate. The spirits of the elements shape not only nature, but also character. This is the secret hidden by mystics and initiates. The true contact with elementals happens when you embody their qualities. To awaken the elemental within is to awaken your wholeness. By practicing these steps, grounding, breath, fire meditation, water communion, ritual alignment, and daily gratitude, you begin to live in harmony with the elemental world. And as your awareness sharpens, you may one day find yourself in a forest or by the sea, sensing a presence that cannot be explained but cannot be denied. When that moment comes, you will know the elemental spirits are real, and they have been waiting for you to remember them. From the beginning of our journey, we asked a question: what if the elements were alive? What if the wind, the fire, the waters, and the earth itself were not mere matter, but the garments of unseen intelligences, elemental spirits, guardians of nature, keepers of ancient truth? We have traced their echoes in the myths of Greece and Rome, in the whispers of Celtic druids, in the teachings of Hermetic masters, and in the practices of shamans across the world. Everywhere, across time and culture, humanity has encountered the same truth. Behind the physical lies the spiritual, and behind the visible lies the invisible. And yet, the greatest revelation is not that elemental spirits exist out there in the forests, the mountains, or the rivers. The greatest revelation is that they exist within you. For you are made of earth. You are animated by air. You burn with fire. You flow with water. The elements are not strangers, they are your very being. To commune with the elementals, then, is not only to awaken to their presence in nature, but to awaken to the deeper currents of your own soul. When you stand barefoot on the soil, you remember stability. When you breathe with awareness, you remember clarity. When you gaze into the flame, you remember courage. When you touch the water, you remember compassion. These are not just qualities, they are living presences that shape who you are meant to become. So, the question is no longer do elemental spirits exist? The question is, will you choose to live in harmony with them? Will you awaken to the living intelligence woven into every breath, every step, every heartbeat? Because the truth is simple, and it has always been known by those who dared to see. The world is alive. Nature is not mute. The universe itself is speaking through every leaf, every spark, every wave, and every gust of wind. The only task is to learn how to listen. This has been Esoteric Glyph, your sanctuary of ancient wisdom, hidden truths, and esoteric philosophy. If this journey stirred something in your soul, don't let it fade into silence. Subscribe, share, and join us as we continue to explore the mysteries that awaken the spirit and transform the mind. The spirits of the elements are waiting, not in some faraway land, but in every moment of your life. The next time the wind brushes against your face, or the flame flickers in the dark, remember, you are not alone. You are part of a living, breathing mystery that has no beginning and no end. And in that realization lies the true magic.